So I've been a creative for over 10 years, and throughout the years, I have put out so much content on different channels, different mediums. But in the beginning, it was hard for me to find consistency because consistency, as you know, is the most important thing when it comes to trying to build your personal brand, trying to grow on social media, whether you're a business, entrepreneur, or just somebody who loves to create and wants to build a following. And I've tried several times. There's been several attempts, several failures of me starting from scratch, from ground zero, and try to build something that I can say that is something I'm proud of. And I've done vlogging. I've done, I've tried Twitter. I've done blogging, writing blog posts. I've tried just several channels on YouTube, and all of those seem to have failed. And it wasn't until the last few years where I figured out what it was that I was missing, that I really needed in order to see consistent growth within my personal brand, or within something that I've built online. And today I want to talk about that. Last year, I was able to grow my Instagram account from about 10,000 followers to over 100,000, and I'm still at 100,000 on Instagram. And there's a purpose to it. There's a reason to it. And it wasn't just by accident or by happenstance. It was intentional. And the thing that I was missing this entire time, which a lot of creatives, I feel, or creators in general, forget about, is a system. It's something that allows you to stay sustainable, because sustainability is the most important thing aside from, being consistent. If you're not sustainable, then you won't be consistent. They go in tandem. They go hand in hand. And if you're able to build a system that is able to allow you to be sustainable with your current lifestyle or the current rhythm of where you're at in your season today, then that's going to be the thing that's going to be the game changer that's going to take you from not growing to seeing exponential growth. And I tell you that from experience. I was the guy that would just post whenever he felt like it. I was the guy that he just got a spark of inspiration, and then I felt like I could just create something and put it out there. But it wasn't until I started thinking of this as something that, if it was important to me, I would build things around it to be able to put consistent content out there. And I know sometimes it's hard for us to take something that's a hobby and think of it that way. But if you want to build something that's long-term, that you want to eventually generate revenue from, or to build something from, then you have to start thinking about it this way. There's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And one of the quotes that I really love, that he's very, very famous for, is, "We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems." Meaning that our goals are great. Every year we start off the year setting goals, and we're going to do this and that, and our New Year's resolutions. But I think it's like over 70% of people don't even get to reach those goals after like the first month or two. Why? Because we have not built systems in place. Had we built a routine or a system, then those goals would be a byproduct of that. So say you're trying to lose weight. Well, instead of just saying, I want to lose 30 pounds, well, what is it going to take for you to get there? How many days out of the week do you have to go to the gym? And even beyond that, what does your meal plan look like? And how are you going to get to that? And what's the system in place for you to put that? The goal of creativity is to eliminate as much friction as you can. And that's where a system comes in place. So in this video, I want to break down what my system was to get me to over 100,000 followers. And maybe you can take this and then implement it into your personal brand to then build your own system to go ahead and start to get to where you want to be. Because if you're like me, right, I was stuck. I felt like I tried everything, but it wasn't until I sat down, put a plan in place, that I saw the growth that I really wanted to see. So my system, very simply, was, one, brain dumping was the first step. I had to take what was in my head and put it down somewhere. That could either be on a piece of paper. In my case, it was just on my notes. And all I did was, anytime I got an idea, through consuming, through just thinking. A lot of times I like to go on walks, or I'll just be in moments where I'm just in thought, maybe taking a shower, and an idea comes to my head. A lot of times we think that we can just remember that thing over and over, but we all know that's not the case, because when it comes down to creating, we forget those ideas. So the biggest thing is just dumping it out of your brain, because that does two things for you. One, it allows it to remember for the future, but then two, it allows your brain to have more space to then input more ideas. So that would be the first thing that I would do, is just brain dump. Anytime you get an idea, you can go ahead and just put it down. Again, whether it's a notes app, paper, I've even done voice memos before, like voice notes for myself, and I just save that. There's tons of ways that you can just document the ideas that you have in your head. So then from there, that's ideation, right? You're coming up with ideas. Then you want to set a schedule to then go ahead and start creating from those things, right? So if it's a reel, if it's a video, a lot of times people will script, and I've even done scripting as well. So you can script the whole video, you can do outlines or bullet points, however you want to do it. But again, there's a system in place. So I would brain dump stuff, and then I would go ahead and script the video, create the shot list, and then from there, ideation, creation, and then I'm editing things, and then I'm actually putting them out into the world. Now, if you want to get down even beyond that, more granular, is I had different days for different things. And again, this is not my current system, but this is what got me to 100,000 followers. This is the thing that I followed, is I set days for myself to then post content. So if I knew Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I was posting next week, this week I'm working ahead. So maybe Monday I'm coming up with ideas. So the 3 ideas for next week. And then Tuesday I'm filming, or actually scripting those videos for the next week. Or if it's a carousel, I'm coming up with what the carousel is going to be. And then Wednesday, if I have all the copy down, then Wednesday I'm going to go film things, or I'm going to design things. And then Thursday I'm going to go edit those things. I'm going to make sure those things are edited and done and everything. And then Friday, I'm just making sure they're all scheduled out and put out into to a place where I can, if I want to post them myself or schedule them out. But again, there's a system in place. So every single day is assigned to something. You're waking up and you know, okay, today's Monday. I'm going to go and come up with ideas. Tuesday, I'm going to script, right? And so on and so on. There is a system in place, because if we don't have this in place, what's going to happen is we're just going to fall to our feelings. We're going to fall back on what we want or think we need to do. But really, sometimes we don't even want to do them. And if we fall to our feelings fail us a lot of times. So it takes discipline to be able to withstand those feelings that push back, and just say, you know what, today is Monday. I told myself I'm going to come up with 3 video ideas. Today's Tuesday. I'm going to come up with an outline for these 3 video ideas. Because if you want to see growth, it's going to take that much intentionality. These people you see online, they're not just blowing up by accident. There's a reason behind all of it. And I guarantee you, if you ask them what their system is, they'll be able to pinpoint exactly the routine that they follow to get from point A, which is just an idea, to point B, actually putting that idea out into the world. So I say all this to say, to wrap up this video, you have to come up with a system that you feel is going to allow you to have sustainability. Because when you have sustainability, that's when you have consistency. Another example for me, I go back to working out, because I was a lot bigger than I was now. And in order to get to where I wanted to be, I had to be okay with, hey, my schedule right now only allows for 2 days a week to go to the gym. A lot of times we want to go from December 31st, 0 gym experience, not even step foot inside a gym in over 10 years. And then go from that to January 1st, we're going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like 6 days a week. And then we wonder why we burn out the second or third week. It's because our body was not used to that, and it was not sustainable. But had we gone from 0 days a week to maybe just 1 day a week, imagine if you go just 1 day a week, that's sustainable for you for the whole year. That's 52 times in the year versus the 6 days that you went in a row and then you burnt out for the rest of the year. That is the way we have to think about content. We have to look at what our schedule is like, what our season of life is like, what our rhythm is today, and say, this is the rhythm that's going to allow me to go from point A to point B. This is the most sustainable approach for my current lifestyle. And so I'm going to stick to this because it's what's going to allow me to stay the most consistent. And if I stay the most consistent, then I know that I'm going to be able to get to a place where I want to be, which is to see growth, to see my brand grow, and to then be on the other side of like, all right, the year has passed and I've been able to put out this much content, right? There's a quote that says, if you don't quit, you win. If you don't quit, you win. And I'm telling you, the only way that you don't quit is that you build systems and sustainability within creating content for yourself. The moment you can unlock that is the moment that you will see your brand start to grow. It may be exponential growth, or it may be incremental growth over time. But regardless, you're gonna see growth, because if you don't quit, you will win. So I challenge you today to build a system that you can be proud of, that you can stick to every single week, no matter what. No matter if a birthday comes up, no matter if you get sick one day, no matter if something happens, you can stick to your schedule, because it's what's sustainable for you, and it's what's sustainable for your current season of life. So I hope this encourages you, and I just want to challenge you to build a system, because that's what I did, and that's what's helped me to unlock growth within my personal brand.